What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Adex providing you with the trade recap video for Thursday, April 14, 2022. We had a short week last week, so instead of having a Lotto Friday, it was a Lotto Thursday. I hope you all are spending this extra day that we have away from the market doing something besides looking at charts. Hang out with your family, spend time with friends, go watch a movie. The charts will always be there. So take some time out for yourselves. So now on to the recap video. So the trade that we're going to be looking at over today is NVDA. And what you see on this screen is the setup that NVDA had on Wednesday at market close. We see that NVDA gave us a 3-1 setup on the day and a potential 2-1-2 setup on the 4 hour for either side. With this 3-1 setup on the day, we could either take it long 3-1-2 to the upside or 3-1-2 to the downside. For the upside, it would be a 3-1-2 rev. NVDA also had a gap fill above 227.25 cents that was going to get filled at 230.62. Now, I was biased long for NVIDIA for one reason, and that was due to TSM's earnings. TSM was going to report Thursday morning, and if the numbers or the guidance was good, NVIDIA and other semis such as like AMD or MU, Micron, or ON, they should see a pump due to the sympathy of semis and that the fact that they were all within the semiconductor ETF SMH. Now, we did have a green day, as you can see with this yellow, with my colors. We did have a green day, but most of the continuity was pointing down to the downside. So if NVIDIA gave us a red day, we'd have full time frame continuity to the downside. So as we always say here at AdexTrades, play both sides, all right? So now let's look at the 15-minute and let's see how this trade played out, all right? So this is the 15-minute, and I have used the replay function that was available on TradingView so you can actually see how the trade played out. We see that we have our 4-hour entry right here at 224.28, and we have to the upside, and we have our 4-hour entry to the downside at 218.84. So remember, you want to play both sides. Now, when you woke up in the morning on Thursday, you noticed that TSM gapped up, and because they had good earnings and they gave good guidance, right? So NVIDIA actually gapped up as well. And so let's see how this trade actually played out. And remember, if you actually go back to the setup right here that was actually given on Wednesday, you want to make sure that you have your price targets. The first price target that NVIDIA is giving us to the long side is 227.25, and then we have the gap fill. If it can get above 227.25, then we're going to be entering the gap. But remember, the first price target is 227.25, and then we're going to see what NVIDIA is going to do after that. Remember, TSM did have good earnings, so we're going to switch it back to the 15, and let's play it. Boom. Price target hit. First 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure it happened in like 5 minutes, but let's switch over to the hour right here. And let's play this one. Boom. All right. So you can see that the price target was hit 227.25, and it created a 3 on the hour. Let's go back and let's drill down to the 15 so you can actually see how this trade played out. All right. So if you look at the 15, what had actually happened was we wanted the gap fill to be filled for NVIDIA, but obviously we know if you trade strat that if it hits your price target, we know that that is a decision making point, right? Market makers or people are going to decide whether they're going to take profits or whether or not they're going to continue going long in the stock. So we see that after our price target was hit at 227.25, NVIDIA started to come down and it started to create a shooter on the 15. Using the 15-minute from yesterday's candle close, we were starting to form a 3-2 with the potential to create a 3-2-2 rev to the downside, right? And not only that, we were now below our daily call entry. Like I always say, and like we always try to teach at AdexTrades, the reason we enter is the reason we get out, or the reason we exit, right? So with that being said, now that we were below our daily call trigger, you should consider getting out of the play. Not only that, we were setting up for a 3-2-2 rev to the downside with the potential to go outside 4 hour. All right, so let's continue on and see how this trade played out. Boom, 3-2-2 rev to the downside. Now we are 50% of the 4 hour from yesterday's 4 hour, and we have the potential to go down. We know with the TMG and the trigger machine gun, right? If we go outside 4 hour, we can set up for the potential 3-2 to the downside. We can go 50% of the previous day, and now we will be setting up for a potential outside day for NVIDIA. So if you had calls and if you had 0 DTEs for NVIDIA and you had it for the long side, the reason why, or what you should have done, or what you're supposed to do if you trade the strat, is that the first price target, that is where a decision has to be made. We understand that at these pivots, decisions are made. So you would have to take some profits at that first price target and then leave the rest of your runners, if you had runners, at break even. Now, understandably, it is 0 DTE, so it may happen relatively quick, but just trading the strat, NVIDIA did what it needed to do in the long side. Yes, we did want that gap fill we wanted the gap fill to be completed, but with the semis and with the whole market being weak on Thursday, it didn't want to give it to us. So now, with that being said, what could have you done with the NVIDIA trade? After you take your profits for the long side, I believe it went about 20-30%, right? You take your profits and then you have your stop and the rest of it at break even. Now that you see this 3-2-2 rev potential on the 15 with full time frame continuity to the downside, you can play NVIDIA for puts, right? That's why we like to say here at AdexTrades, play both sides. 3-2-2 rev, and let's see how it played out, right? At this point, now you are outside 4 hour. Okay, you are outside 4 hour. And if I go here, this is the NVIDIA trade right here showing us outside 4 hour. Full time frame continuity to the downside with a 1-3. We know that the 1-3 is a potential reversal play, right? Looks like a and it also looks like a bear flag breakdown. So now we have broken down from the bear flag with the potential 1-3-2 setup to the downside, right? So you can see that if we do the 1-3 and we trigger the 2 down on the 4 hour, we will trigger the outside day for NVIDIA. Okay, now I'll go back to the 15. There it is. And remember, we're switching sides, so now you're getting puts. And what I'll do I will pause it for you guys. Remember, and what I'll do is I'll show you the 50% rule right here. TMG. So as soon as NVIDIA did this 2-2 down right here at about 219.78, you triggered the 50% rule for NVIDIA. That would have triggered, and then the potential TMG into the 4 hour 3. I would say the 3 on the outside 3 on the 4 hour with the potential to go outside day. And that is how NVIDIA played out. We'll continue to play both sides. Remember, now you switched over to 215 puts. I remember we had a couple of members who actually noticed that NVIDIA was triggering the 50% rule to the downside, and then we had some members who switched and said, all right, time to take some 215 puts or some puts for next week. Got a little TTO right here. Then ultimately, then maybe you want to see the double bottom bounce, but no, another TTO right here. And you know what's crazy? I bet you what I can do is if I add fibs right here, TTO right off the 0.382 and then the 0.25 right back to the downside. We know how important those fib levels are. And there is your outside day triggered. Go here. Take this. Outside day for NVIDIA, full time frame continuity to the downside. And that's how you take the play for NVIDIA. Yes, we did want the gap fill to the upside, but we know outside bars exist. We also know that when we trade the strat, we play both sides. We hit our first price target, which was here at 227.25, and as soon as we got that 322 rev to the 15 minute, on the 15 minute, that is when you should have switched sides for NVIDIA. All right. And so it was a wonderful play. We were able to take advantage of both sides. And that's our trade recap for NVIDIA for April 14, 2022. I'll see you all next week. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend.